Hello YouTubers, I am coming today to discuss with you the unveiling of my chronic illness, multiple sclerosis, to my family members 7 months after my diagnosis. Excuse me. So I waited 7 months to tell my family members because so much had been going on in the family during or around the time that I learned that I had multiple sclerosis. February of 2015, I lost my father. March of 2015, 4 weeks later after my father passed, my cousin passed, and she had been raised in the house with me and my sister, so she was raised like a sister to me and my sister. And so, like I say, 4 weeks after my dad passed, she passed. And then there was other things that were going on, either with close family friends or I don't know, it was just a lot that was going on in 2015. And then, so my dad passed in February, my cousin passed in March. The end of April, I started having symptoms, and in May, my son was getting ready to graduate high school, and the day of his high school convocation, I met with a neurologist and learned that 99.9% I had multiple sclerosis. So I could not tell my son that I had multiple sclerosis. It's graduation week. And not only that, it was graduation week, after he graduated, he was getting ready to leave home. And I could not lay a diagnosis of his mom on him when so much had been going on, and I couldn't tell my daughter because of all what had been going on. She was really, really close to my dad. She was the first grandbaby girl. So I could not tell her because everything just, it was so much. And I know that she would have probably been depressed or very upset because she was having a hard time with the loss of my dad. So to lay something like that on her wasn't a good idea. And I didn't want her to slip and tell her brother when I didn't want him to know, because it's his happy time, his graduation time, him about to leave home after high school graduation. And I just didn't want that information on neither one of my kids' chest at the time. As well as I did not tell my mom, I did not tell my sister that I had, that I was dealing with multiple sclerosis. So I did not tell my kids until December 20th, 2015, during the Christmas holidays, when my son came home, and he was home for 2 weeks visiting. And at that time, I sat him and my daughter down to have the conversation with them. I opted to tell my son like a couple of days after he came home for the holidays, because I wanted him to be able to see me function as normal the whole time that he would be home for Christmas. I didn't want to tell him on the tail end and then he leaves and then he worries. So yeah, I sat down and talked to both of my kids. My daughter is the oldest, and well, she's 25 and my son is 18. And so I sat them both down, and I proceeded to let them know what I had been going through all the way up to the time frame of my diagnosis. My son said that he felt like he knew something was going on only because I was off from work too much, and he assumed that I was going to doctor's appointments. My daughter, she had no clue because she doesn't live at home. But my son, he just didn't assume that something sickly was wrong with me. He just knew I was up to something, me and his dad, because we were both off from work too much because my husband was at every appointment with me. So I just basically, like I told them both that I have multiple sclerosis, how long I had been dealing with it, and that I'm going to be okay. Reminding them how they have saw me the whole entire 7 months before me telling them that I have this chronic illness. I wanted to imprint in their minds that I had been doing good the whole 7 months. That's all they've been able to see. When my daughter come down and visit me, she saw that I was good. I would still be my old dancing mama self, My son, whenever I would talk to him on FaceTime, he saw that I was my norm self and, cracking jokes or whatsoever. So he couldn't pick up on anything was wrong. My daughter couldn't pick up on anything was wrong. And so basically, my son, he looked confused when I told him that I had multiple sclerosis because he didn't know what MS was. My daughter knows a little bit about what MS is, and so she kind of told him. And then she broke down and started crying. And she got upset because she was like, she didn't want anything to happen to her mom. And, it was still fresh that she had lost her granddaddy, and she was still dealing with that loss. And so it bothered her, but me and my husband, my husband took over the conversation and pretty much was telling them that, we're going to have to live each day to the fullest, and that this is nothing that is going to kill me. And actually, he told them that I couldn't go anywhere because I got to take care of him. Yeah, I got to take care of him, and I do. He helps me, he takes care of me, but he was just, he's my baby. So I have to take care of him. And so anyway, my kids, after my husband telling them that we just have to live each day to the fullest, and that I'm going to be okay, and that we were going to get through this, they became all right, because I reminded them that the whole entire 7 months that I've known, I reminded them certain things, certain events that were going on that I knew. Like when we gave my son his graduation party, that I knew at that time. And all they can picture is me flying around, doing this, doing that, preparing this, preparing that. And so they had no clue. And, I just would point out certain things to them that took place in their life that I knew even during that particular time. And I think that helped. I think I made the best decision by holding off for 7 months, giving my son a chance to get on his feet after high school, and plus letting time pass from my dad and my cousins passing to the time that I actually tell my kids my diagnosis. I think that really helped them, and it allowed them to see me still functioning normal, and not be sickly to them. Because after I was diagnosed, I have had no more relapses. I only have symptoms currently, which is a blessing that I'm not having any relapses. And that was my first, well, I say my first, I think I had a relapse in 2009, 2010. But as far as being diagnosed with MS and having that relapse, that was the last relapse that I've had since being diagnosed. So now I'm going on 8 months of knowing that I have MS, and I have not had any relapses. And so, however, after having that conversation with my kids and reassuring them that I am fine, that I just have to get more rest and not be stressed out, because stress could aggravate my MS. They were okay. They got okay. My son, I think he started watching me a little bit closely the whole time that he was home during the holidays. And how it is, after talking to both of my kids, they went with me over to my mom's house, and I called my sister over to meet me there, that I needed to speak with her. She was suspicious. So I went, and I had a face mask on because my mom was sick at the time with a cold, as well as still smoking at the same time. When I got over with my face mask, I explained to them why I had the face mask. And when I unveiled that I had multiple sclerosis, my sister broke down and started crying. My mom was in quiet mode, but in, calm mode, but inquisitive mode. My daughter consoled my sister, and then I had to go through the whole spiel of, from me finding out and point out events to them that would stick in their mind, that even though I knew at that time, they saw me as being fine, that I did not appear that something was wrong. And therefore that will let them know that I am fine. I've known for 7 months at the time that I'm fine with it. I have accepted that I have multiple sclerosis, and God is good. Point blank and the period. So after discussing that with my family members, that has been a load off of me, because I knew that I wasn't going to talk to anyone in regards to it until around Christmas time, before Christmas. But the closest to that time, I started, I was about to burst. I was ready to just get that off of me, and for everyone in my family to know, and therefore, I don't know, that I just wouldn't be hiding that anymore. But my husband has been great support throughout the whole time of, me going through and not saying anything, and keeping me stress-free, or checking me whenever I was getting stressed about something. He would make sure that, not to be stressing over anything. And so yeah, everything's out in the open. There's nothing else to hide. My family knows. And then after I told my family, then I started telling certain friends. I created a list of names of friends and other family members that I'm close to, that I wanted to share my diagnosis with. And I feel good. I got that out. People are praying for me. It's funny because even though I was diagnosed with MS and I knew it and I hadn't been telling people, I was still kind of like the go-to person when my friends or family was stressing out over stuff, and they would come and bend my ear, and I'm kind of like counseling them and encouraging them. And it's funny because after I would tell them that I have MS, then they're like, oh my God, you were going through while I was going through, and you was holding me up and counseling me, but you were going through. And it was just funny. But I was good. I did not feel sick. even though I would have symptoms here and there. But all I can say is that I am blessed. God chose me to carry this illness, but I think at the same time, I can, even though I'm going through with the illness, and I don't know, what the next day or the next minute holds for me, I actually feel blessed because I saw my life, I felt my life change all of a sudden in front of me. Me working at my desk, typing, and me starting to feel disconnected from my left side and knowing that something was wrong, knowing that something neurological was happening to me. I felt and saw my life change. So I feel like I'm blessed that I can tell people to stop worrying about stuff. Don't be stressing because someone else has it worse than you. And not meaning that I had something worse than them, just meaning life is short. And it's like stuff that I used to stress over before. It's not worth stressing and stressing and stressing over stuff, because your life could change in a minute. And we just need to appreciate and I know it's hard to not stress over things, but other people have it so much worse. And even though I have MS, someone else has cancer. And so that's what I mean by things could be so much worse. And we need to analyze when we're stressing over things. Always just remember someone else has it worse than you. So with that being said, I am blessed. And yes, I do have multiple sclerosis, but my life is not over. God has blessed me. He wanted me to carry this load, and I'll happily carry it. And I may have some hard times, some trying times, but I know that God has me, and I thank Him for choosing me. So, YouTubers, friends, family, don't stress, live life, be happy, and stay prayed up. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.